The President of the United States is about to announce a historic Middle East peace plan. At the same time, a CIA agent uncovers a plot to assassinate him in Jerusalem. Oh, that's the exciting premise of Joel Rosenberg's latest novel. Take a look.
The Jerusalem Assassin, New York Times best-selling author Joel C. Rosenberg's latest novel, unveils an unthinkable plot that turns all eyes towards Jerusalem and puts an American president in the crosshairs. The political world is rocked by a peace treaty between Israel and Saudi Arabia. Brokered by the United States, the historic peace summit in Jerusalem is the perfect platform for a presidential assassination. Read The Jerusalem Assassin from Joel C. Rosenberg. Pick up your copy wherever books are sold.
Fascinating. It's highly acclaimed. Joel Rosenberg is joining us now. And Joel, we welcome you back to the 700 Club.
Great to be with you, Pat. Thank you for having me on.
Well, without giving away too much, tell us a little bit more about the Jerusalem Assassin.
Sure, happy to. Well, look, it's about an American president planning to roll out his big Middle East peace plan to bring peace between Israel and the Palestinians. However, a series of senior U.S. officials involved in drafting the plan begin to get assassinated. This rattles the president. He's wondering, maybe he's rethinking whether he should release the plan at all or not. And right at that moment, the Saudis send a back-channel message to the president saying, Mr. President, we're not a big fan of your plan, your peace plan. However, if you will invite the Crown Prince to Jerusalem for a high-profile peace summit with the Israeli Prime Minister, and you, Mr. President, will host the summit, the Crown Prince will go. The president gets electrified by this idea. His security advisors tell him he's crazy. There's an unknown terror group. This is not a good idea, Mr. President. But the president decides to go forward and assigns my hero in the book, former Marine, former Secret Service agent Marcus Riker. Hey, you make this summit safe and it'll be fine. And now the countdown is on and everybody's converging on Jerusalem. And the question is, will the terrorists blow the thing up, or will it really come to pass? An Israeli-Saudi historic peace treaty.
Well, Joel, many times your geopolitical thrillers mirror the actual news. The Jerusalem Assassin revolves around a peace plan, and President Trump has just released his. Did you plan it that way, or that was just the Lord's plan?
Well, not exactly. I mean, obviously, President Trump has been working on his peace plan for almost 4 years, right? And it kept getting delayed and when they were going to release it. I've been working on this novel, The Jerusalem Assassin, since I first met the Saudi Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, almost 2.5 years ago. So, no, I couldn't have known, didn't know, that literally just a month and a half ago, President Trump would release the plan. Now, I guess if my novel had released then, we'd be saying, oh, my goodness, it's so interesting. Now, in the midst of a historic, horrifying coronavirus summit, suddenly, it suddenly seems not quite as interesting. But, hey, we can't watch Netflix and play board games with the kids all day. We need to stay home and read. So this may be one for while the entire nation is quarantined.
Well, Joel, you've met many of these Middle East leaders, like the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. How did those meetings influence what you had to say in this book?
Yeah, well, it is fiction. The Jerusalem Assassin isn't based specifically on the conversations I had with the Saudi Crown Prince, not just once in Riyadh, but for another 2-hour period in Jeddah, and taking 2 evangelical delegations to visit Saudi Arabia, the first Christian delegations ever to meet Saudi leaders. So it's not like a book that's really giving the inside story of what we did there. But the time with him did inspire me to think, look, we're not talking about an Israeli-Saudi peace summit in Jerusalem anytime soon. But I do think not only the Saudis, but the Emiratis, the Omanis, the Bahrainis, the Moroccans, they are actively considering making peace with Israel and moving in that direction, which is encouraging. But I'll also say very few political thriller writers get a chance to spend time with all these senior leaders in the Middle East and for hours and hours talking to them about what do they think about war, peace, diplomacy, and terror.
Well, you've got a big deal about praying for the peace of Jerusalem. We're told to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Is that a major theme in your book?
It absolutely is. As you know, Pat, I moved my family to Israel almost 6 years ago. We are dual U.S.-Israeli citizens. One of my sons has finished the Israeli Defense Forces. One of my sons is still in the Israeli military. We bought an apartment in Jerusalem. We live there. This is our life. This is the center of our life. And it is the focal point, as you know. I don't have to remind you or your viewers. Jerusalem is the epicenter of God's plan and purpose for the world. It also, unfortunately, is the epicenter, the vortex of all the evil in the world that wants to destroy peace. But we're supposed to be praying for the peace of Jerusalem. Blessed are the peacemakers, Jesus said. So, yeah, there are troubles over there. There are serious problems, but there are real opportunities. I think it's more likely for Israel to make a major peace treaty in the next few years with a Gulf country than at any other time in human history.
Joel, is the conflict between the Saudis, the Sunnis, and the Shiites, and the Iranians, does that figure into this whole peace thing, that they really think it's time now for the Sunnis to link up with Israel?
That's right. The Iran threat, which we've talked about many times over the years, Pat, but specifically last year with the Persian Gamble, it's the existential threat of the Iran nuclear program and the Iran terror regime that is not only making Israel prepare for the ultimate showdown with Iran, but it's causing the Saudis and all the other Gulf states and Arab states, Jordan, Egypt included, to prepare. And the Iranian threat is causing every Arab regime in the region to fundamentally rethink their strategic premise. Is Israel an enemy really, as they've always treated us historically? Or is Israel an ally against the Iranian threat, against the extremists of the Muslim Brotherhood and other terror movements? And the Arab states are beginning to change their view that, yes, Israel is a friend. Maybe they should be a full-on peace partner.
Last question. What would you like readers to take away from your book, The Jerusalem Assassin? What do you want them to take from the book?
Well, first, I want them to be entertained. I am a thriller writer. I want them to tweet me at 6 o'clock in the morning, cursing me. Well, not really cursing literally, but, because I've kept them all up all night reading. But I really want them to imagine, what could the world look like if we continue to pray for peace? We know the Palestinian leadership isn't ready, but what if these other Arab states, like the Saudis and others, are? And how could the kingdom of Christ be advanced by us being part of the peacemaking process, even as we wait the return of our Savior, which is the only ultimate source of peace. And it's been great being with you, Pat. I want to wish you happy birthday, by the way.
Well,
I know you're turning 90, and I'm glad you still read my books. You're amazing, and I appreciate you.
Well, I'm writing a few of my own, by the way, but all of these, but nothing of this level. The Jerusalem Assassin. Joel, I congratulate you on this. This book has been highly acclaimed by those who've come in contact with it. It's a big book. It's loaded with facts, and Joel's quite a fiction writer, and I think you'll enjoy it. The Jerusalem Assassin is available wherever books are sold, and it's...
I am one who stayed up too late last night.
Oh, did you do it?
Well, it's out today, so it's available
She's
everywhere.
got dark circles under her eyes. It's all your fault, Joel.
Stay awake.
Well, God bless you. All right, Terry.